Oh, look at that. We went live. Hey.
All right, well,
Hey,
look,
guys. Well, you know what I figured? I figured if I kept clicking on it,
it would go.
perhaps. Yeah, because it said 30 to 60 seconds. So maybe if I just kept hitting it, it would go. So, anyways, guys, yeah, StreamYards was giving us the business here. So we weren't able to start. Well, and now I have my sound on in the background. So, yeah, we are live. We're up on YouTube. Where's Entropy going? Come on, Entropy.
Yeah,
You got us
I've
on
never
there?
heard of I'm showing it on my end. I'm seeing it on Entropy.
Okay, I see it now. I got it. All right, cool, good. All right, well, let's do this proper. All right, welcome everyone. This is the Ends Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched and deplorable to end all deplorables, two white heterosexual Christian males from the American South. We talk about philosophy, history, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my co-host and producer, Tank. So, folks, lend us your ear and crack open a beer because the ends always justify those memes. Hey, man, I got that. I got that.
Got through it, huh? Oh, hey! I like that.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this now that we're started. I'm actually getting warm. Could get a little naked here
Hell yeah.
before the memes start. Get a little saucy up in here. All right. All right. Hope everyone's doing fine tonight. We are late to start because of StreamYards, if you didn't catch that little beginning portion there. But we appreciate you all sticking through it. And just to let everyone know, we are on DLive, Entropy, where you can donate, and YouTube if you guys are on any of the other platforms and you want to switch around for whatever reasons. I don't know. Tank. We're all discombobulated, but the show should be good tonight. So I guess without further ado, man, you want to bring up the Memecast news? Uh-oh, Tank's freezing on me.
Bring it. I'm good.
So happy St. Patty's Day, folks. I didn't really do anything that day. I think I worked, but top of the morning to you. Kenobi, me lad. And
yeah, I didn't do anything on St. Patty's Day either.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's like on was it like a Wednesday or Thursday? That's not fun.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could take off later in the evening. I don't know. I know I went into work early that day, I'm pretty sure, and had a long day, but made good money. So it was worth it. But I don't know if I drink any beers or anything. I do know this is Ewan McGregor is in the news right now. Or at least this fellow suggested that he should be, with a Ewan McGregor should start selling cannabis infused coffee. He could call the brand It's the Higher Ground.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know the story. It's over, Anakin. I have the higher ground. You underestimate my power.
I have not seen this movie.
Oh, well, you probably never should. But anyone who has can get the meme, and it's a little bit different. The left can't meme, Anakin. I'm not reading all that. But speaking of Star Wars and memes, probably the biggest living real meme just happened the other day with the release of, well, this.
We greet the President of United Earth.
The hell is that?
Now, obviously, you are not allowed to criticize this, you bigot. You may lose your job if you say something about this, right? But I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine that in a Star Trek episode, you would have Ted Cruz making an appearance. Or Mitch McConnell. And I want you to imagine how the blue check marks, the anointed ones, would react on Twitter. And you need to react exactly like they would react. The exact way they would react. That's how you need to react with this right now. Exactly the same. But you know what? Right-wingers, they don't react like this. And this is why you deserve this level of Star Wars.
I don't know who these people are.
Get what you deserve. If you're a Star Wars fan, you deserve that.
Just realized Stacey Abrams was in Star Wars also.
Oh.
That was V.
Hey, that's Michelle Obama in the background.
Yeah, there you go. So that was V, the YouTuber, and he I'm pretty sure misspoke and started calling it Star Wars, but
whatever.
Yeah,
he's a Euro.
Stacey Abrams makes cameo as United Earth president on Star Trek Discovery. Now I understand why so many human colonies were made to cut contact with Earth. That is in the show, from what I understand. This is a big old.
Is this supposed to be Stacey Abrams, tank, or are you calling Stacey Abrams a tank?
Yeah, she's the fake governor of Georgia tank.
Oh yeah. I get all these people confused.
She's the legitimate winner. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think you should watch the clip again because I don't know how you could confuse her.
Nation is continuing to help impacted worlds recover. Many have since joined us. Their perspectives are helping us all see more clearly. Navarre is back. Teller Prime never left. Andoria is now in talks. And today, we greet the President of United Earth.
I mean,
what Star Trek is this?
The new one, Discovery or something like that. It's it's just a woke mess, like all of this stuff. But I don't know if you caught there. There was something kind of in her teeth there. I don't know if you saw that.
What is that?
Yeah, we're zooming in there. We're
what
trying to touch it.
Is that? Hell yeah!
And so, in other news, apparently Hunter Biden's laptop, that whole thing was real.
No,
I had no idea.
No.
Strategy seems to be to call Biden a criminal. Why is that?
He is a criminal. He's a criminal. He got caught. Read his laptop. And you know who's a criminal? You're a criminal for not reporting it. You are a criminal for not reporting it. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is a criminal, and he's been a criminal for a long time. And you're a criminal in the media for not reporting it. Good luck, everybody. Have a good time. Have a good time.
You're terrible. You're all terrible.
You're a criminal.
That's the YouTube channel John Talks, by the way. If you like subpoena coladas and getting caught in Ukraine,
Hey,
when your dad's and the children are into cocaine.
I don't know if the images that I saw are true. That looks like old Hunter's into some pretty young kids too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
We'll talk about that some here in a bit.
oh no.
And Old Pacific says, unfortunately, here Unfortunately, this was correct. How can Joe Biden be trusted with our national security when his son is the biggest blackmail risk in U.S. history?
I had a okay. It's okay. So if okay, let's not do hypotheticals. This is what happened. All right. So the former vice president's, now president's son, gets a job making $50,000 a month in a country of which the language he does not speak, and a firm he has, or no, like a sector that he has no experience in. Like, you have to assume that something illegal is going on. Like,
Occam's razor would suggest.
Someone tried to argue that, well, just because the company was buying influence doesn't mean that they were actually getting the influence that they were buying. Like, like, so they're just paying this guy. Like, if they weren't getting what they wanted out of him, they wouldn't pay him $50,000 a month.
So what you're saying is, it's just because I bribe a cop, it's not bribery if he doesn't do what I want him to.
Well, yeah. Well, that and the assumption being that if you're getting multiple payments over, a long time, then the assumption should be that they're getting what they want out of it.
Right.
And it ain't got anything to do with Ukrainian energy.
Well, for anyone confused before they say, Jack Posobiec shouldn't use words, because I know how sensitive everyone is, like, blackmail. I want there to be a distinction made here. At the top is blackmail, and at the bottom is a blackmail. And there is a difference, and there's nothing racist with the word. So in the Hunter Biden laptop story, we heard a lot from the news media, the legacy news media, the always factual and correct news media. Let's hear what they had to say.
Secret emails.
A really fishy story.
The Post claimed that the emails were found on a laptop computer that was brought to a repair shop in Delaware in the spring of 2019.
The FBI is now investigating whether those alleged Hunter Biden emails are actually connected to a larger foreign intelligence operation.
They may be related to a foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence operation.
For all we know, these emails are made up.
The information found on the laptop may be part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Part of a Russian disinformation effort.
Described by many intelligence experts as having hallmarks. All the hallmarks of a Russian.
Why she wearing a mask?
Russian disinformation.
Disinformation campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media machine.
Sure.
Yeah, OSIS. Yeah, that fired prosecutor. I mean, that was obviously like, that's the obvious corruption, right? But I mean, even if you didn't have that, if I was paying someone $50,000 a month and I wasn't getting what I wanted out of them, I would only pay them for 1 month, and then that would be the end of our business. So you can assume that the other months mean that they were getting something in return. Quid pro quo, some might say.
Yeah, sure. But Joe Biden, he's a good guy. He's an honest dude. He would never do anything like that. And his son's an honorable person, a very honorable person, and sleeping with his dead brother's wife, and at the same time getting a stripper pregnant while snorting cocaine, leaving firearms lying around, and whatever else. He's a great guy.
Former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he.
Wait, 50 former bald CIA heads. Anyways,
saying is a bunch of garbage.
This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation and a smear campaign, like you said.
Yes.
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. It's the last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. The vast majority of the intelligence people have come out and said there's no basis at all.
No basis at all, Tank.
No basis.
Yeah. And the New York Times.
Who the fuck trusts to see it?
Came back out.
What person like if you approach them and say, "Oh, well, the CIA says this," goes, "Oh, well, I trust the CIA." like is it like the last people you would trust? Like, is there anyone left that would trust an intelligence organization right now?
Yes, massive, massive. What am I trying to say? Massive amounts of people, just ridiculous numbers of people.
So yeah, it's like, oh, they did all this like fucked up shit in the past, but they don't do it anymore.
Right,
They're on the up and up now.
They don't pay attention. But hey, you know, the White House press secretary, she had been confronted on this as well in her stories.
If I may, you asked about Hunter Biden's laptop. You also, in October 2020, dismissed it as Russian disinformation. Do you stand by that assessment?
Again, I'd point you to the Department of Justice and Hunter Biden's representatives. I'm a spokesperson for the United States. He doesn't work for the United States. Go ahead. Go ahead and, okay, we'll do the last one here.
Thank you, Dan. I have two questions.
The New York Times has authenticated emails that appear to have come from a laptop abandoned by Hunter Biden in Delaware. The president previously said that the New York Post story about this was a bunch of garbage and that it was a Russian plant. Does he stand by that assessment?
I'd point you to the Department of Justice and also to Hunter Biden's representatives. He doesn't work in the government. Go ahead.
Oh.
But does Biden Jr. stand by that?
Right. All I know is she has misinformation. And
hey,
speaking of which,
bro, she's got a hard job. She's got a rough job.
Yeah, except for the two women who preceded her were like 1,000 times better.
Yeah, but they didn't have to lie like she does.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Got a good point there, Tank. It's hard to keep all the lies straight.
Like if you're gonna be the spokesman for any president, Trump's the easiest one. You just go there and be like, you can tell the press to go fuck themselves, and you know, when you're completely in line with like the brand.
Since Dave Smith has said it, I want Michael Malice as the press secretary.
That'd be a good one.
I don't care who puts him there. I just want him as the press secretary. And in any case, White House press secretary Jen Psaki says she tested positive for COVID-19 again. That was here on March 22nd. It's kind of interesting with the timing that she just had to be out of the office all of a sudden. You know, to me, it's still more believable than anything Jen Psaki says. That is this picture. Yeah.
Psaki.
Yeah. And flashback, our survey after the 2020 election showed Biden voters might have changed their vote if they were aware of the stories the media actively censored and, falsely labeled Russian disinformation that include Hunter Biden. 17% of people, voters, that would have massively changed the election, aside from, you know, the very tactical rigging that they had going on. So, you know, I don't know if you know about tactical rigs, Tank, but you know, I was in the military and I know all about tactical rigs. So
I don't know anything about tactical rigs.
Yeah. And that face when your daughter's diary is leaked and she writes about her creepy showers with Joe and describes you as a cold, evil bitch.
How? You know, that story hasn't popped up in a while. I wonder what's going on with it.
Well, it hasn't, but Project Veritas has, I don't have it in the show, but has discovered that they were being spied on by Biden's DOJ, which, I mean, go figure. I mean, it's not like Obama had like his political opponents arrested and kicked out of press conferences, and, you know, Dinesh D'Souza gone after because he made a movie about him and stuff. I mean, that didn't happen.
Bro, who knows?
Anyways, so yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that we have some seriously corrupt people in government. It seems really obvious to you and me, but to a lot of sheeple, it is not obvious at all. But aside from that, what's even more obvious is Joe Biden's failing and his mental capabilities.
Spare more pain and more loss. The only way these millstones no longer mark our national mourning, these milestones, I should say, no longer mark our national mourning.
I don't even know what you're saying there. There's only one way to spare more pain and more loss. Is milestones no longer mark our national mourning?
What?
That's what he said. Play it again.
Remember when Trump did an autocorrect in like Covfefe and it was like in the news forever?
Covfefe is awesome. I drink it every morning.
The only way to spare more pain and more loss, the only way. These millstones no longer mark our national mourning. These milestones, I should say, no longer mark our national mourning.
I don't know. I mean, I think he just fell asleep there for a minute. I mean, I actually, believe it or not, Tank, I have the technology to see what Joe Biden was dreaming about. I'll show you.
What the
Finally awake.
Where the hell am I?
Stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Let's get this over with.
Let's get what over with? Hey, horse thief. Let's make a break for it. When they call your name, I'll distract them and you can make a run for it.
All right, I'm trusting you, old man.
You're a truly honorable man, horse thief.
We've only got one shot at this. I know you won't let me down.
You're absolutely right, only one shot. That's all we got, just that one shot. Or did I get two shots?
Rail off of Riverwood.
Or was it three? And what about the booster? Where's that son of a bitch Fauci when you need him?
Now is the time, old man. Go! You're not gonna kill me!
Archers!
Oh shit, I forgot about the distraction.
Anyone else feel like running?
Well, considering you're gonna kill me anyway, what have I got to lose?
Who are you?
My name is Joe Biden, but you've got to listen to me. I think I may be in some sort of alternate universe. I was supposed to be going for nap time, and now I'm here with all you people. I'm very scared.
Okay, this one's clearly batshit crazy.
He goes to the block.
That was the most coherent he sounded in a long time.
Right. Yeah, but not in this clip.
Former Governor Jennifer Granholm, the Energy Department. I often kid her, and I wasn't kidding early on when I was seeking the nomination. Had she been born in America, she'd be standing here and I'd be sitting there. She was a former governor of the state of Michigan. Michigan, wrong. She was a former state, she was a governor.
These edibles ain't shit. 47 minutes later.
Ooh.
I mean, if it ain't dementia, this dude's on some strong stuff. I mean, do you really want this guy at the head of the wheel? Just imagine this, right?
Why would I take a test? Come on, man.
Flight 209er, you are cleared for takeoff.
Roger. Huh?
And 98% agreed we should still keep a mask over Nancy Pelosi's face.
What am I doing here?
Huh?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
And like a lesbian coming out of the closet, we're all saying no more mandates.
I don't know what the Greg Gutfeld thing is on this, but
How old are you? You're like 19?
Mayday! Mayday!
Mayday, what the hell is that?
I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Your crew is in complete control of the situation.
True international pressure.
There's absolutely nothing to worry about.
But in a real crisis, it collapses like a...
nothing.
What
Nothing
the
to say
hell?
about that.
What the hell?
Well, we also have Kamala. I am never going to be president or anything like that, or vice president. I don't expect to be. I'm not articulate enough,
I
I don't
do.
think.
I
But
expect
neither
I'll
are
be
these people.
The governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here, and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Bruh. What the hell? What the hell is that? She's like a mega church preacher, but not good at it.
I don't even know. I don't think that's a good example. I don't know, man. I think she feels really awkward, really uncomfortable. She used to be a little bit better. I think she's too self-aware of how cringe she comes off, and she doesn't believe in any of this anymore. And she's just like, "Fuck, I'm this far in. What am I doing?" You know. But I don't know. At the same time, she's probably just kicking her heels up, waiting to get in the Oval's office. You know, it's like whatever.
They know that we can't go there. Putin is trying to bait the trap so that we go in, and that's the beginning, could be the beginning of World War III. Putin, who threatens use of chemical weapons, nuclear, and the rest. So they know that we can't, but it's the ask. Now, he was this morning more. If we can't have a no-fly zone, let us have our own, and we need the airplanes to come in. Myself, when I see those tanks, that 40 miles of tanks, I'd like to take out those tanks. I mean, I think that them having more planes might be useful, but that I'm not a military strategist.
Clearly.
I'd like to take out those tanks.
I think it's time for her to retire. What do you think, Tank?
She needs to take out her fucking. I don't even know. Never mind. Fuck it. I lost the joke. I pulled a Kamala.
Bait the trap. Putin is trying to bait the trap.
Yeah, this was actually pretty funny. That video there, the first one I put up, the comments. This old mummy is the perfect example for the need of term limits. The fact this woman is number 3 in power in our country is absolutely frightening. God help us. Nancy's knowledge of Russia is as deep as the bottle of Smirnoff vodka. Corrupt, self-serving, obnoxious, condescending. This woman should never have been allowed in Congress. Yeah,
I mean, she's real good at the stock market, though.
Yeah, real good at inside trading.
That's what I want to hear.
Most people are. It's funny how that works. And really, this is what's going on. She finally realized the hand sanitizer was 60% alcohol. Or perhaps it's the fact that she knew JFK. She was at his inauguration.
Damn, that's her.
Yeah, that is her. I know she once used to be kind of cute. She's like 18 there though. Like, so she's pretty young there, but still. And now she's just a terrible harpy.
She fucked JFK?
Probably.
That'd be funny.
Her dad was a politician, if you didn't know that. So that's how she So she got involved with her banker husband, and then for years, she threw Democrat fundraising parties in California, in the big sections of California that were, for the very wealthy elite Democrats. And so she got really good at that. And then when she became a grandmother, at some point, she said, "Oh, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to run for Senate." And because she had been a fundraiser for so long, she had all this backing. So that's pretty much the story of Nancy Pelosi, in case you guys didn't know that, how she got the power in the first place. But yeah, it was all because of her husband. She married into it. It's because of her family and her husband. That's how it worked.
I just want to buy some. I just want to get some stock tips off of her.
Yeah. This is pretty much how things are going right now. I mean, we know this, right? We know this by
time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it.
Hold on. Give me a second.
All right, I don't know what Tank's doing, but I guess he tried to cut out. He had to cut out. He muted himself. In any case, old Biden dropped the NWO like he was, with the WWC and Hulk Hogan or something. There's a lot to be said about this. I made a video yesterday on All Minus One, and no sooner than I made the video, I was on my way to work and I listened to Tim Pool's take, and I'm pretty sure Tim's just not fully saying everything he wants to say out loud, but at the same time, what do you call a group of international people getting together, planning to have a one world government? It's not about if it's a secret or not. It's about that it's happening. And I want to remind you that happy first day of spring to everyone who survived the winter of severe illness and death that the Biden administration wished upon us. And you all might remember that, but it did not happen. It did not come true, of course, because it was overblown and stupid. And the coof was like endemic quite a long time ago. And they knew that, but they kept the whole thing going. And here we are. Here we are, all worried about the Ukraine. Anyways, what's going on, Tank? You all right?
There's a severe tornado warning at my house, so I might have to cut out if something starts getting crazy.
You couldn't be here late anyway, so
Yeah.
not that worried about it. But yeah, these are the same people, right? COVID body count, Clinton body count. But good news, maybe. Dr. Fauci says he's considering stepping down, according to Zero Hedge. Now, he's old. He's been in the government as long as I've been alive, nearly, and as a bureaucrat. And so, what is he really losing? They come to him and say, "Hey, Anthony, it's time to step down, bud. It's just things are a little bit too hot. We need to. The American people are stupid. We need to let them forget. And so your face is too recognizable." And he's like, "Okay, I guess I will." But before he goes, yes, there will be a midterm variant. Just be aware, guys. Be aware. And so stepping in, we have our current CDC director, the things that she had to say. And it's really funny. All of a sudden, everything I've ever said about COVID was true. And all the bans that YouTube gave me and, fact checks on Facebook and whatever else. Hey, didn't matter. Didn't matter that I was right because trust the experts.
Improved. Well, I think I can tell you where I was when the CNN feed came that it was 95% effective, the vaccine. So many of us wanted to be hopeful. So many of us wanted to say, okay, this is our ticket out, right? Now we're done. So I think we had perhaps too little caution and too much optimism for some good things that came our way. I really do. I think all of us wanted this to be done. Nobody said waning when oh, this vaccine's going to work. Oh, well, maybe it'll work. It'll wear off. Nobody said, well, what if the next variant doesn't? It's not as potent against the next variant.
Now, what she just said there, I'm paraphrasing. Actually, I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm just going to summarize. What she just said there is that we didn't care about any sort of science, despite what we said. We were giddy about the idea that the science might work.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, what'd you expect from these people?
Not much. Not much at all. Not these days. And of course, they've come out to say that it accidentally inflated the COVID number deaths in a coding error for children. If those sheep could read, they'd be very upset. Yep. Accidental coding error. Yeah. Yeah. It's absurd. And I've said it many a times. Pretty much everything we needed to know, we knew in the first few months of this happening. It was absolutely absurd. All the stuff that went on. None of the things that went on in the very beginning, as far as lockdowns and shutting down economies and strange restrictions, none of that should have been going on after the 4th or 5th month of this. It just absurd. I mean, that's my opinion too. I'm not an expert, just an opinion.
Yeah,
But
well,
all the data seems to bear that out as well, especially when you compare various nations.
It does concern us when there are deaths at home. From the few reports that I've been seeing, we're seeing reports of people having an illness for a short period and then sudden deaths, and we've reported about those earlier on. That's been reported elsewhere in Australia, around the world, where it's myocarditis, which I think I've referred to on a previous occasion. But we are certainly keeping a close eye on those, particularly when there are deaths. We investigate those, particularly if there's anyone who's died at home. Yep.
Now, remember, this is the same people for months and months that said, oh, no, this is perfectly safe. There's nothing wrong with any of this. There's nothing going on. And, of course, the media had covered and just said, oh, all of a sudden there were stories about strange heart attacks and how everything caused heart attack all of a sudden, like never before. And at the same time, let your eyes do the telling, right? Like, trust what you see.
¿Qué pasó? No.
Diese Impfpflicht scharf schalten, wenn sie nötig ist. Ist das dann nicht viel zu spät? Wir müssen uns und ja.
A polícia militar foi chamada na zona rural de Ribeirão Vermelho. Sabe por quê? Olha,
I don't mean to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm gonna be honest, I have the shingle shot too. Never got COVID, clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice, so nice.
That shit was fucked up.
Jedes Kind ist.
But imagine.
She signed it. She fell down.
Imagine all this is in public. Caught on video.
If you're Donald Trump, I don't care if you're Bill Gates, I don't care who you are. You come at children with experimental Nuremberg code, violating vaccines that you broke the law to ram through. You are a terrorist in league with Joseph Mengele 2.0.
I get it, people have cell phones, but most of those were broadcast.
We have a player down on the court. We'll try to get more information.
Johnson taken out on a stretcher and rushed to local Tallahassee Memorial Hospital.
Leading cardiologist says cluster of collapses in footballers likely to be just a coincidence, a terrible coincidence at that, but just a coincidence. Yes, just a coincidence.
You really need to get vaccinated. Get vaccinated.
Listen to our government agencies. These guys are telling the truth. You know, there's no conspiracy here, folks. Just get your damn vaccine.
Right, because they take it seriously. Just to remind everyone of this video, these people are liars and they don't care, and they never took this seriously because they knew that you lived in fear, and they could control you with that fear. Wait, what? Is this the right video?
Bro, falling out on stage.
Nope. This is not the right video, dang nabbit.
Falling out on stage like that after bragging about getting like vaccinated and boosted and shit. I don't think I could ever recover.
I wonder if that video is too short for it to. Hold on. I'll get it here. It's always got. I was flowing, man. I was flowing. It was going good. It was always one. Always one. There it is. You guys remember this, right? Of course, there's the AOC, no mask event. There's the whatever. Oh, let me put it on right before I come on stage. Department of Justice. It's all show. It's all theater, guys. Very soon, there will be hundreds of health officials saying it was your choice. No one made you take it.
Yep.
Lies. And no one really truly did make you take it, but of course there was the threat of losing your job and access to anything. We never said it would stop transmission. Yes, you did. We never said it would prevent infection. Yes, you did. Look over there. There's a war in Ukraine.
It's funny that the signs, I guess they never updated or got the memo or whatever at work. All the signs that from like a year ago at work, they were telling us to get the vaccine. They all say prevents you from getting infected.
That was never true, though. We knew that from the Israeli data. It people in the media here, like people in the media here, we're touting that line, and I don't even mean like even just the mainstream media, but others that just believe without actually doing the research. I heard Robbie Suave talking about that on the Hill or something. I'm like, what are you talking? And later on, he kind of switched because everyone did. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? It never, it did what it did. It did what it did. That's what it did. And just like that, everyone on Facebook stopped being infectious disease experts and became international relations experts. And of course, 60 Minutes, I lied to you about Hunter's laptop. I lied to you about the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. I lied to you for months about the COOF. And then I lied to you about the untested vaccines. Now, if you tune in on Sunday night, I'll lie us into a nuclear war with Russia. I lie a lot.
She does.
I don't think we're going to get into a nuclear war. It's just, what you have to understand is what's called manufactured consensus. Right? That's all it is. Manufactured consensus. If I can get 60% of the population or more to agree with me, then I can control the entire population because of the social pressure. And most of that 60% obviously is because of that social pressure, right? But don't get caught up in it either, guys. Don't keep it too black and white here. Because although I agree with the back Canada, and I'm not really there with the back in Russia either. Like, don't just fall in like an NPC. Why won't you think as you're told? And so the lib left normally. Nationalism is stupid and backwards concept, especially for white people. Lib left after the Russian invasion. OMG, glory to heroes. Stand with Ukraine, defend your country. Because this is what's going on. What are you outraged about now? They haven't told me yet. And these people are so self-absorbed that this, Tank, read this out loud for the crowd, please.
If you think about Ukraine, it's kind of like Baby Yoda and Reddit is the Mandalorian. I mean, think about it. We find this strong but helpless little guy, Zelensky, and we protect them going to Kiev and fighting. We see that they have some special powers, the ghost of Kiev. Oh my God. And we have to protect him from the evil leader, Moff Gideon, Putin. We use the force upvotes to send our spiritual support to the country. Not only that, but Baby Yoda is also getting support from Luke Skywalker, NATO, by teaching him about the force and sending helmets. Sadly, though, the dark side has their own dark troopers, Prussia. And
I think
they
it's
are
supposed to be
going
Persia. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're going to be a real challenge to fight. But if the Mandalorians come together, ready to assemble, we might be able to defeat the dark side, Russia. Jesus Christ, these people need to be put against the wall.
It has a trigger warning, but also 143 upvotes.
I'm probably going to go pretty soon because it's getting pretty bad over here.
All right, well, roll out, man. Roll
All right,
Tide.
y'all guys be good.
See you. And then there was one. I've gone solo. Wonder what the show looks like that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's kind of spiffy. Can I do memes like this? You bet your ass I can. All right. And just remember, guys, for every leftist, for every Democrat that votes, there's 2 Democratic votes. Just remember that. But yeah, like this is, again, it goes to the narcissism, the corruption, everything back in the minds of these folks is just completely twisted, and they can't see it. And unfortunately, it is actually, in my belief, a large portion of our society. It really depends. It really, even people I talk to who aren't leftist are very indoctrinated, very indoctrinated by what's going on today. Meanwhile, though, we have, there's a reason why they weren't on Epstein's flight logs. Epstein's girls were too old. And why do I bring this up? Well, I bring it up because, one time Joe Biden walked in the bar and the bartender said, "How about a nice 12-year-old?" And Joe Biden said, "Boy or girl?" He said, "Whiskey." What? WTF? No, I bring it up because the Supreme Court nominee, Contingy, yeah, I can't talk, guys. Contingy Brown Jackson defends her record of letting pedophiles off the hook, just as they admit Hunter Biden's laptop is real and full of child porn. Isn't that kind of interesting? Interesting to me, at least. And, Joe Biden had pushed forward, after all of that, a bill on revenge porn. This is back in, March, that is, of last year. Revenge porn to become federally criminal bill with possible 2-year imprisonment. Now, if you think about the different kind of scenarios here, the release of the laptop video and pictures could be considered revenge porn. I actually know what Hunter Biden's, that is the president of the United States, I know what his anatomy looks like. I'm not saying that I care to or wish to. I'm just saying that I do because I've seen the photos, and that can be and will be used against political enemies with bills like this. The federal government has no business having bills like this in the first place. This is a state matter, but regardless, I find the timing suspicious. So, basically, she'll allow it. If you hadn't heard, President Biden's new Supreme Court Justice nominee is in the habit of reducing child pornography sentences on average by 47.2%. So that means that actually it's a lot lower than that. Like some she gives hardcore on, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say, but there's lots of stuff on the interwebs about that. I'm sure you'll find out. Either way, it seems like this Wahmen really likes the pedos. Seems kind of strange to me. Here she says, some people who possess child porn are sexually motivated, aren't sexually motivated, but simply in this for either the collection or the people who are loners and find status in their participation in the community. What in the world is that? Oh, it's just they're like baseball cards or like knives, because I like knives. So I end up collecting knives, not because I'm really a knife collector, but because I like knives. because knives are cool. And yeah, child porn is just cool according to her, right? Oh, that's just so. Oh yeah, they just want to collect it. They're like stamps. They're like coins. They're like I don't know, like teacups or dolls or whatever else people collect. Yeah, I mean, there was a period in time. There was a period of time where these people were exiled or something because the rest of the community, the rest of society understood this was dangerous to a healthy and strong society because it endangers our children, right? And they're just sad loners. They just want to participate in a community of evil people. This is the idea of basically psychologicalizing, right? Psychologically psychologicalizing, right? Making sinful, evil things in other people's minds just a deficiency or another way of life or whatever. It's a way of making it not evil, right? It's a way of deforming the truth and reality of things. Anyways, the media's double standards are plain for everyone to see as Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearing kicks off today. And here we have Brett Kavanaugh. When a Supreme Court seat is on the line, the court and the country deserve the benefit of the doubt, not the nominee. And of course, here in the Washington Post, opinion. How low will the GOP go in taking on Ketanji Brown Jackson? Josh Hawley lets us know. There's nothing low about that. Josh Hawley is asking her about, her basically slap on the wrist for pedophiles. Gave one 3 months. And maybe someone looking at child porn isn't a pedophile. I don't know. Maybe someone's going to say, but Bill, what about these certain ages and whatever? I probably would actually agree with you over a certain age. Like, I mean, there's an inappropriateness with age difference for sure because of literal biological factors where your mental state is not fully matured. But I do believe that a person of a certain age does know if they want to have sex or not. At the same time, it doesn't mean that people who are significantly older are not taking advantage of them either, right? And again, this goes back to the Epstein type age. Most of those girls, of course, being much younger than most laws allow, which most laws in most states at the lowest allow 16. So, anyways, this was the video I meant to play earlier, or started playing earlier. I mean.
Provide a definition for the word woman.
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
That's it, mister. You just lost your brain privileges.
Yeah. Don't know what a woman is. Apparently, can't contextualize that. Does this sound like someone who might be a leftist to you? Breaking. Dating apps to temporarily shut down until they can find enough biologists to tell people which way to swipe. Again, from Cat Turd here. I have no idea how I was conceived and born. My parents aren't biologists. If it's unclear what a woman is, how does Biden know he's nominated one? I don't know what a woman is. You're hard. Only took a few years for SCOTUS hearings to go from believe all women to what's a woman. I'm going to help out, though. I'm going to help clear this whole subject up in just 2 or 3 seconds. So she says, can you provide a definition for the word woman? No, I can't. And Blackburn says, you can't? And Jackson says, no, I'm not a biologist. Biologist. Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible and breaking, but I'm glad I can inform you all. Oh, I did it again. Here, it's this one. Oh, nope. Nope, it's this one. Nope, that's too early. Man, what video is this supposed to be? Boy, oh boy. I'll find it for y'all guys. Here we go.
Holy fuck. $5.69 for gas?
Anyways, that didn't work out too well, but I was trying to transition in there. Yeah, guys, if you hadn't noticed, gas prices are up. True price of gas under Joe Biden. Arm, legs, soul, kids. Of course, we all know Mayor Pete the other week said that people struggling with raising gas prices should solve their issue by buying electric cars. In related news, homeless people should also just buy houses to sell or so they aren't homeless any longer. Thanks for the tips, Marie Antoinette. Yeah, and this is all you're doing if you are using an electric car, because it's all based off of petrol, no matter what, folks. It's all based off of that, unless you're going nuclear. And we're not allowed to. Not allowed to have nuclear power. So, of the most basically boneheaded things, though, said recently, aside from Buttigieg, we have Bloomberg. Excuse me, guys, if I'm not going to be the sharpest. I'm drinking beer tonight, and I don't really drink anymore. So I'm trying to keep it together. Anyways, this actually sent me on this whole thing of looking at their Twitter for that day, just to see the boneheadedness of Bloomberg opinion. And oh Lord, is it bad? I will show you some here in a bit. It will be sprinkled in here in a moment. But they said inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. Here's how to deal. Take the bus. Don't buy in bulk. Try lentils instead of meat. Nobody said this would be fun. Of course, $300K in most areas is literally the top 1% of income earners. This is just absurd, but whatever. The best response, of course, being, here are some tips for the author. Walk into the sea. Keep going farther. Very much appreciated. Meanwhile, gas prices in California are uniquely exorbitant, but could become more common as we switch to EVs. What? They could be what? They could be more common as we switch to electric vehicle. I don't know what you're trying to pitch me here. Don't quite get it. Anyways, inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. Here's how to deal. More Americans than ever can expect their finances to worsen as inflation hits a 40-year high. Do you really need that extra car? Yeah, actually, I do. I actually need one more, literally. So you can go screw off. I make my living off my vehicle. The third vehicle wouldn't even be driven necessarily most of the time, except for to and from a workplace. And then the other one would just be for use of the third driver in my household when not, not having access to the other vehicles. I don't understand how that's contributing anymore. It's not like we're driving more because we own more vehicles. It just means that we're, I don't know, owning more property. Maybe that's the problem here, right? I don't know. Seems like it. Cashier, sir, you just gave me $200 for that lollipop. The rest on pump 4. It's the way it's getting, man. $200 for a tank in California and for some cars. I showed you last week the RV. Mind you, RV's got big old tanks, but still. I mean, it's just brutal. Just brutal. Oh, thank you, Yiz. I haven't even looked at the chat, so glad to see you're watching, though. I don't see anything going on over on Entropy. Done lost my spot. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, vote to remove taxes from fuel to help working families. Nah. Give ourselves and staffers 21% pay increase. Yeah. And I showed you last week, California shot that down. Actually, Maryland right now, Governor Hogan cut that out. He got rid of, or at least suspended it temporarily, the gas prices. Nearby in Maryland, where I go, it's or where I can go, is $3.68. I think I got it the other day. In my area, it's like $4.15. If you go further east out toward Frederick, my wife told me last week it was $3.30. Pretty impressive, but still not the best, right? Still not great. That goes to show you, though, about how much taxes contribute to your gas prices as well, though, right? And breaking, gas prices are now so high, it's actually cheaper to buy cocaine and just run everywhere. You heard it here first, folks. And of course, if you're concerned about it, that just go over to Amazon, and get yourself some stickers and make sure every time you fill up that people are reminded of the responsibility being placed here, right? Currently, price of gas per gallon USD in major oil producing countries: Kuwait, $1.30, Russia, $1.63. Russia in the midst of a war, mind you. Saudi Arabia, $2.35. Venezuela, 95 cents. Not that I would want to live in Venezuela. Iraq, $1.95. Iran, 19 cents. US, $4.32. Notice anything? I don't know if these prices are correct or not, but you could fact check the meme if you wish. Either way, I'm going to believe it. And the main thing I understand is that these are all net exporters of oil, and we're a net importer of oil. Pretty sure that's how that works. But you got you got idiots over in Bloomberg writing articles. Can a plan to drastically reduce demand for oil work? J. Lee Energy takes a look. Why would reducing our oil, hurt Russia? Sorry, I just read the headline there. I meant to read below. Cutting oil demands would hurt Russia and ease a supply crisis. How? How can a plan to drastically reduce demand for oil work to cut Russia off? Cutting Russia off by not using oil here at home is going to reduce the price of oil. Like, how about we need oil to do stuff, to make things, to drive, to have products and whatever it is essential to our economy. Like, I'm all for figuring out, reusable energy or whatever, sustainable energy. All for it, actually. I'm pretty sure the market will provide, but is it really a good idea to just take the foundations of our civilization and just say, we're going to reduce it? We're going to cut our nose off and spite our face, and that's going to mess with Russia, right? That's what their article says, at least the headline. And then we have Vladimir Putin made the mistake of imagining the global economy was a one-way street. As Russia goes, so goes state capitalism? Question mark. I don't know. But what this sounds like to me is Vladimir Putin was so arrogant, he thought he could just do whatever he wanted without American dollars. And pretty sure he's right. In this, is there a solution more absurd than two of the world's most dollar-dependent economies promising to free themselves from the exorbitant burden of the dollar? Saudi Arabia's oil for yawn bid won't threaten the dollar. You're insane, Bloomberg, or you're just a globalist who actually is trying to, massively program the population and get everyone to believe your propaganda so that they'll feed into it and actually destroy themselves. That seems to me to be the case. But despite the stupid headline, confirmed India has just bought oil from Russia at a discount and in ruples. This is the real story that you won't hear in the news. Global realignment. What have I been telling you? Look, guys, I've been streaming for close to 2 years now. I can tell you, I've been saying this long before these things were in the wind with most anybody. Yet I run this little tiny stream. And I'm not sitting here watching a bunch of conspiracy streamers or anything else. It just is obvious what is going on, knowing what I know on the reality of the world. Although the pace of the change in human rights in Saudi Arabia may be glacial, international diplomacy moves fast, says Martin Evans. The UK has to rethink its embrace of Saudi wealth. And this is about the previous article, right? It's just absurd. Russia's going to be fine. They have oil. They're exporting it. This is all about convincing Americans that they should make themselves poor. And most Americans and their wealth and luxury have been brainwashed so much that they're so dumb that they'll do it. Or at least, 60% of them or so. Meanwhile, the U.S. Central Bank declared war on inflation Wednesday by raising interest rates, which they should have done, 20 years ago. But the fact that they haven't actually makes this a bad time for that when everything else is super high, because then, no business can start. This is just a way to help crush the economy. I'm not saying they should artificially keep it low either, but should have corrected this a long time ago, or just have a free market. Let the value of the dollar be worth what the market dictates. Meanwhile, it says while Chinese authorities indicate that recession is their foe, the Fed and China go to war against different foes. Now, China's saying we won't have a recession. And mind you, recessions come and go when you centrally plan and manipulate. What do I got here? Since 2014, all BRICS can trade among them without using dollars through their bank systems. Well, anyone could trade without the dollar ever, but it's all about being in the globalist plan. And do you have the big military behind it, like the U.S. and all the military-industrial complex and the control of international markets because of that as well? Because we're the ones that house the UN, dude. It's the bottom line. Regardless of that, doesn't mean that they won't completely destroy the people, because the elites will be fine. But anyways. Meanwhile, as China's in recession, they supply a lot to all over the world, just, saying we don't, because we stopped doing that. We import, we don't export. Thus, we have Egypt's wheat supply is in dire straits. China can easily help, but will it? Ukraine war gives China a wheat crisis. Gives Egypt, a wheat crisis only China can solve. Imagine that. Imagine all of these things about me saying about the shifting of powers, how they're going to change hands, and they like the social credit score, the ESVs that all your banks have right now, and payment apps and processors and whatever else, and how this just going to change to China one day. How's that going to happen? Well, you're watching it, folks. This is they called it the Great Reset the other year. I don't know what happened to that thing. It just disappeared. It was just a meeting. That's right. It's just that one time. As much fun as it is to complain about rent, it's actually being outdone lately by other life expenses, food and fuel. Right. And what was it? 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, Tucker did a monologue about prices going up and those kind of things. I suggest you check it out. It's pretty good. I was going to put a little bit of it in the show, but I ended up downloading the wrong clip, and it was about Zelensky. I didn't want to go too much into all that stuff tonight because I'm kind of tired of hearing about it because it's stupid. This is what's really going on. They're making you poor on purpose. That's what they're doing so that they can sell out America, basically have less sovereignty, and to more entice you into the global government in which you're a slave to. You have to be given your rations, be fed into the metaverse and whatever else that they're going to do. Don't think about it in terms of prices going up. Instead, try to realize the truth. What truth? The Federal Reserve is destroying the value of the dollar. Yeah, that's what's going on, guys. Imagine that.
I'm sick of this stuff. We have to talk about it because the American people think the reason for inflation is government spending more money. Simply not true.
You're such a f***ing liar.
Make no mistake, inflation is largely the fault of Putin.
Liar! Listen. Liar!
Biden said he's going to stop the Keystone pipeline, and I did. And that's the reason prices went up. Folks, let's get something straight here. The Keystone pipeline was 2 years away and had been 2% finished. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Never forget what we've accomplished together so far. It will blow up. Give me a break. Give me a break.
It's from John Talks once again. It says the people who are $30 trillion in debt are giving you a credit score. Just remember that, folks. Remember how the system actually really, truly works. And listen to this.
I save money when they print money. They can print as much as they like. Then they tell you, so that you go to school, you get a job, you become an employee, you pay taxes because you're working for money. Then they tell you to save money. So let's say you save $1 US or €1, 1 yen. The banking system can lend out 10. So the entire system is called the fractional reserve system. The fractional reserve system is also printing money. And then they tell you to save money. So they want you to save money so they can lend out your money 10 times. So your dollar became worthless 10 times over. They used to pay you 10% interest on your money. Now it's at best 1%. And they're still lending it out 10 times. So that's why you don't save money, is because your money is becoming worth less and less and less and less and less. The banks are getting richer and richer and richer.
Yeah. And just so you know, this is how those who think corporate greed causes inflation like to kiss. Just saying, ladies, in case you're interested in that type of man, you might be. I don't know what your proclivities are. In any case, it's not just the banks though; it's a whole system, interconnected, that is immoral, and a lot of it is based in the fact that the Federal Reserve Bank is a Ponzi scheme, mind you, which creates a a line of corruption on down. But, it's also politicians allowing certain companies bailouts and tax breaks and certain benefits. Don't get me wrong. I think companies should get tax breaks to move into, or taxes should be low for business. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, when you give a government subsidy to, let's say, Amazon or Twitter or Facebook or any big, multi $1 million company like that, who also helps you out to some degree, and you also give them a tax break on top of it, it's like, oh, the government's suddenly funding the corporation. It's almost like it's some sort of ownership, like there's a collusion there. Like, maybe it's not quite what would be known as communism, but it's some form of socialism. Perhaps we could call it fascistic. Of course, it could only be fascistic if the state is the head and leader of everything, the arbiter of truth and the spiritual and religious, head. That's true fascism. I'm pretty sure we have all that too, but just saying. Yeah. So, anyways, here we go.
To become unhinged and terrifying. So, buckle up. Your entire life, your 9 to 5, your retirement fund, the news you watch on TV, the gas you put in your car, the phone that you're watching this on is effectively controlled by one company. And that company is BlackRock, with over $10 trillion under their management. That is more than the GDP of every country in the world, with the exception of the United States and China. BlackRock and its primary competitor Vanguard, which they are heavily invested in, own 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, 12% of Disney, 12% of CEN. All of your news. They are the biggest shareholder of Apple, of Mobile, of Google, of Microsoft, of Johnson Electric, of Chevron, of JP Morgan Chase. Since COVID started, they have increased their assets under management from $7 trillion with a T to over $10 trillion. Biden's top economic advisor, this guy, former BlackRock exec. He also used to work for Obama. Kamala Harris's chief economic advisor, BlackRock, former chief investment strategist. The founder of BlackRock caused the financial crisis of 2008. I can keep going.
Keep going. I'm sure he could. Let's hear though about about that federal budget and what we're going to do with it and how we're going to help out Americans.
I just want to dig into that a little bit more on the COVID relief.
This will be your third time.
My third time, what, ask about COVID relief?
Yeah.
Well, it's substantive. You like substantive questions, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, while people are dying in Ukraine and all of that,
people are dying from COVID too. Do you plan to offset it?
We have to offset it.
You do have to offset it.
We have to offset it, and that's what we'll have to go to. And I would hope that the sensitivities of those to any offset would be the equity would be weighed as to what we need to do to save lives and livelihood and prevent the creation of a new variant. Yeah, it would be offset.
You said you're disappointed. I mean,
Yeah,
what is your
we don't have
message?
it right now. That we don't have it right now. We have everything else right now. Then we don't have it right now.
What's your message to those colleagues who nitpick kind of over that?
I've communicated my message to them. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It'll be offset. We'll get relief to people. Of course, that's not real either, folks. They're just giving money to hospitals that put it in other stuff. They give it to governments that put it into other stuff. It's all a big scam. Wake up. Wait 6 months and we'll send you $600. Wait 2 days and we'll send you $14 billion. I mean, what do you not understand about the reality of this stuff? And of course, here now we have we have the government admitting that there are biolabs in the Ukraine. They probably do have some stuff in them that is nasty, even if they're not level 4, because guess what? The government lies. Amazing. And of course, when Tulsi Gabbard mentions it and pointing to the original individual stating this, who works for the government, Victoria Nuland, she is then called to basically be gulagged, because this is how it works, because it's insane. And And of course, you have other people that are so insane that they just buy the narrative no matter what. And when they hear anything that comes along, they go, "Oh, do you like Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton blew up my village. You Russian assets are so adorable." I mean, that's kind of how it goes, right? Here we have, what Nancy said about this directly, right? About Ukraine and giving money to them instead of the American people or securing our border, any of those kind of things. And mind you, I'm kind of agnostic on the idea of the wall. I think there are other ways that we could do this thing, but regardless, why are these folks all the way on the other side of the world a priority when things are getting tougher and tougher here?
We know that we can't go there. Putin is trying to bait the trap so that we go in, and that's could be the beginning of World War III. Putin totally irresponsible, using weapons that are not allowed under the Geneva Convention. Putin, who threatens use of chemical weapons, nuclear, and the rest. So they know that we can't, but it's the ask. Now, he was this morning more. If we can't have a no-fly zone, let us have our own. And
all right, so that's enough of that. But it's Putin. Lay off the sauce, Nancy. Retire. You're too old for this. No, Putin didn't threaten anything. He said he had nuclear weapons because he knew that would be the statement to let people know that, hey, don't come here. But hey, we'll see some videos here in a minute. If we left $87 billion worth of military equipment to the Taliban and we offer Ukraine $1 billion in military aid to fight the Russian invasion, doesn't that mean we value our relationship with Ukraine $86 billion less than we do our relationship with the Taliban? Yeah. Kind of does. Kind of means a lot. Although it's hard to say how much of that was planned ahead of time versus made a decision about later on for the Taliban. What I do know is that globalists be globalist, and whatever Nancy Pelosi just said, Dan Crenshaw is saying too.
How these things have been represented, and then what do the Russians do? They take this biolab conspiracy and they run with it. If you actually analyze social media, that wasn't a story for Russians until people here domestically started making that a conspiracy. All right, that's a problem.
Here are the undeniable facts. There are 25 to 30 U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. According to the U.S. government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens.
And what do the Russians do? They take this biolab conspiracy and they run with it. If you actually analyze social media, that wasn't a story for Russians until people here domestically started making that a conspiracy.
So in order to protect the American people, the people of Europe, the people around the world, these labs need to be shut down immediately, and the pathogens that they hold need to be destroyed.
They take this biolab conspiracy and they run with it.
Yeah, 100%. And God bless my wife for she doesn't do work in defunding biolabs, but just animal experiments, the stuff that these people do, man. And I know there's someone out there going, "Oh, but we need advancements in medical technology." Well, this is not the way to do it, by endangering and threatening people potentially. That's you and your hubris believing that playing God isn't going to turn around and bite you in the butt. That's what that is. But regardless, guys, the current thing is probably just a psyop. Just remember that. Just remember that, yeah, there's stuff, there's news. I mean, I would assume that, yeah, the biolabs probably have dangerous stuff. The federal government admitted to it, that they were there. They didn't admit exactly what was in them, and they probably never will. But I'm sure a FOIA request will find out at some point, and we'll know. So, hey, regardless, all wars are bankers' wars. Changed my mind. And if you didn't know, that's old Major General Smedley Butler, and a very famous Marine. All Marines know who he is, and he wrote a great book called "War Is a Racket." Was a great advocate for vets after the First World War, one of the first great banker wars before the second great banker war. And that's really what we're experiencing. And if you don't believe that, just remember.
And now's the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it.
No, you did not just say that. Where's my tinfoil hat?
Yeah, maybe he didn't mean that, Maybe Joe Biden, it's just a turn of phrase that means, well, no, the neoliberal order and well, no, we're going to reestablish peace and security. Okay.
For stakeholders, we have business, of course, as a very important audience, and we have politics. We have continuous partnerships with many governments around the world. And of course, we have NGOs, we have trade unions, we have all those different parts. Media, of course. And very important experts and scientists and academia. Because if we are looking at the future, I think we should look at new solutions, and the new solutions will be very much driven by technological development.
And we even have, you even have religious leaders, right?
We have religious leaders, we have social entrepreneurs, very important social entrepreneurs.
We have people that agree with our vision, that are part of our club, that want to see that these things come to fulfillment. I don't know what you all define a conspiracy as, but basically my definition of a conspiracy is when one or more, two or more people come together, right? That is a few people or more, or even a ton of people come together and agree upon something and try to make it happen. There is no, we have a negative connotation to that word, but there's nothing in the definition of it that says it has to be secret. There is an implication of that, but the word doesn't mean that. To conspire means to come together and come up with a plan. And these people 100% conspire. From General Clark.
Terrorists, but we got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. I said, is it classified? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, don't show it to me. And I saw him a year or so ago, and I said, you remember that? He said, sir, I didn't show you that memo. I didn't show it to you.
Now, the only way that we are saved by any of this stuff right now, or have been for the years that this has been going on, is via their incompetence. Now, the internet has been this beautiful thing that's helped people come together and see and realize the truth. People are waking up. And these people are quite incompetent. I showed you video after video tonight. Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, course, they're not the real people. They're just the front. The real people are behind the scenes. They have dozens of people behind them. You like Klaus Schwab, right? But just understand that. Understand that it's only their incompetence saving you right now, or so it has been. And how is it that we went from being a man able to support a family of 4 with just about any job to having both men and women having to work full time to barely be able to get by? We should be twice as well off as we were in the 1950s, but we're not. And the reason is because we are in a one world government, and the globalists don't care about the sovereignty of the United States and have just used it for its military might. And with that, we had some backing of the dollar. We had gold for a while. And then with the petrodollar, we had some backing as well. That could never last forever. And those people that said that it was going to were fools. Every one of you. So the most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you rethink what the real reasons are. Something so big and powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within. It's not being destroyed quickly. This has been a 100-year process. We're at the tail end of it. Like, you really have to understand where we are at in the timeline of this iteration of our civilization, right? And I figured to throw this in here. It's not too long. PJW had a pretty good video on this, so I'm just going to play the whole thing.
Foreign dictators are once again laughing at the subversion and emasculation of the West, this time in the form of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He questioned why the West continues to triumph, how democratic it is, while insisting that everyone holds the exact same opinion about everything.
أما حرية التعبير والرأي وهي أحد أهم الأسس التي يتباهى بها الغرب فقد سقطت بالهاوية. فعلى الأقل منذ أتى جورج بوش الصغير منذ حوالي 20 عام والعالم الغربي كله برأي واحد والكل يتحرك بنفس الاتجاه. حكومات، لوبيات، شركات، وسائل إعلام، ومؤخرا وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي. ما هذا الغرب الديمقراطي الذي يعيش فيه مئات الملايين من البشر ولكن ليس فيه سوى رأي واحد؟ فالحقيقة حرية الرأي وحرية التعبير هي أن يكون لك رأي واحد متطابق مع الغرب. هذه هي الحقيقة.
Yeah, but isn't Assad just a dictator? What right does he have to lecture us about free speech? Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong question. The real question should be, why are Middle Eastern dictators laughing at the state of free speech in the West? Does that kind of suggest to you that we've abandoned the principles that once distinguished us from Middle Eastern dictatorships? Doesn't really matter if Assad is a hypocrite, he's right. And what of this monoculture of allowed opinion that Assad speaks of? Is diversity of thought an increasingly endangered concept in the West? Take this for example. A polling firm in Canada compared the answers of fully vaccinated people to non-vaccinated people when it came to the situation in Ukraine. The results were staggering. Fully boosted people, having been terrified of a virus for the past 2 years, are the most aggressive when it comes to favouring risking World War III to face down Russia, while non-vaxxed people are far more likely to oppose such measures in favour of diplomacy. These insightful poll results back up an increasingly common claim that when the entire COVID narrative was switched virtually overnight by the media to support Ukraine, the unthinking masses immediately displayed their ideological subservience. NPCs were able to seamlessly transfer from zealous support for vaccinations and vitriolic denunciations of anyone who didn't get one, to zealous support for Ukraine and vitriolic denunciations of anyone who even dares suggest there might be some nuance, or who doesn't fully swallow the war narrative of the regime. It seems mass unquestioning support for whatever current thing the political class and the culture demands has become a form of cognitive addiction. Having been completely atomized, humanity seems completely dependent on defining itself by lurching from one crisis to another, and weaponizing that crisis to ostracize, publicly shame and deplatform dissidents who suggests that all may not be as it seems.
So, to the point earlier, yes, the state is fascist. It runs the corporations. It controls. They collude. Collusion occurs between the two of them, and with that, the intermingling of that with the banks as well. All this brings the corruption with the judges. The the courts are corrupt. The academia is corrupt. Every institution, to its core, it's just how it is. And yeah, they're the ones who want to set the established opinion or thought that is fascistic. And of course, we have old Trudeau heading to Ukraine to fix things. Before he went, though, he had a talk with one of his mentors. Throw them all in internment camps. The less protesters, the better. The Fuhrer. Shh! Don't call me that until after I pass the Enabling Act. It's a little old, but I just thought I'd throw it in there because I thought it was funny, right? But yeah, there is no secret elite conspiracy to conquer and enslave the world. They're actually pretty open about it. We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the New World Order. David Rockefeller. This is repeated over and over again in these folks' writings. Yet you will be told by morons, by people who have no clue what they're talking about, because they just take it for granted that the politicians are being truthful. Of course, they're honest people who care about me, and they take the mainstream media. Say, well, the media, they're the arbiters of truth. Okay, Winston. Sure, and Zelensky has nothing to do with the New World Order. I have nothing to do with it at all, despite his his government official, what I forget who it was, the other week saying the very words. Meanwhile, in the Russian embassy, 10 wars, 6 million deaths, 0 sanctions. Yeah. Remember when Joe Biden said, yeah, 60 million people died until after World War II, and no more died. Some did, but not that many. Yeah. Again, he's a liar. The Great Famine in China, right, during the Great Leap Forward, happened after the Second World War. Many deaths happened under the Soviets after the Second World War. You had the numerous other attempted genocides or genocides, whatever you want to call them. You had Vietnam, the Cambodians. Well, we can go all the way over to like Rwanda. Yeah. And again, as I mentioned on All Minus One the other day, let's not forget all of the killings that America did. It's just absolutely sick. It's absolutely sick, and it is hypocritical, not in the classical sense, that's the way I like to typically use it, but in the do one thing and say another sense. But as far as the political class goes, it is in the classical sense. They are actors, they are pretenders, they are fakes, and those who buy it have bad BS detectors. And here's the reality, guys. The first rule of the Freemason Fight Club is you don't talk about the Freemason Fight Club. They all just fell down some stairs, though. Just fell down some stairs, Realize there are 1,500 newspapers, 1,100 magazines, 9,000 radio stations, 1,500 TV stations, and 24 publishers owned by only 6 corporations. You should go back. You should go read some Vonnegut and some of the old cyberpunk guys. Now, most of the cyberpunk guys were all like commies because they're idiots too, but they weren't full idiots. I say that tongue in cheek, Obviously, they were aware of some things. There's something about people who lean toward leftism, though, that don't understand human nature. Like in reality, like they're naive about it. Maybe I was. I certainly was. I certainly was when I was younger. Because I always say I have more of a leftist proclivity. I've always been more conservative, but I do have a leftist proclivity as an artistic individual. So, um, there are certain things I have bought wholesale, but reality had to smack me in the face a lot too. I had to learn my lessons. And that's good with youth. The problem is that most of the lessons I learned, a lot of people learn, get us jaded because we weren't taught properly, because we don't have proper leadership in the beginning. Like, so we can make our mistakes and it might, color us a little bit, but not really make us nihilistic. Most people just become nihilistic these days. It's quite sad. And it's also quite frightening, actually. So, this is basically watching Build Back Better season 2 right now. And I don't know. I'm not really enjoying the show, guys. I'm actually really concerned with things quite a bit. I'll shut down your social media. I'll shut down your bank account. I'll shut down your social life. I'll shut down your farmlands. And I'll shut down your electric car. I don't really know how that fits in the meme, but it should be just car, your gas car. With our powers combined, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Our plan is simple, Mr. Bond. Use the crisis we created to implement the final steps of totalitarian debt slavery. Yes, I know. I read your book, Mr. Schwab. It's like they're so blatant about this stuff. It is it's just incomprehensible to me. The people will read this. They could have an opportunity to read it. They won't get into it. They won't explore it because of normalcy bias. And I don't want you guys to take my word for it, mind you, at all. Like, I'll tell you these things. Please don't. But I don't have the time, nor the crew, because really, if I wanted to do things properly, I would actually need a couple people, and we'd have to write scripts and edit stuff, and just be a very narrative way to explain how all these things happen. I can't do that. You just have to hear my rants and raves and trust the memes, right? Trust the memes. Meanwhile, at least again, we have their incompetence. Joe Biden has Build Back Better, and it was all part of the big plan, but he spilled the beans. So, So why can't people see the truth? Well, Bezmenov talked about this. And exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who's demoralized is unable to access true information. Like, understand this. In part, you got to be sympathetic to these people. Also understand, though, they can be weaponized against you, just like in the Matrix and the agents. Just consider that, right? They're unable to access truth. The facts tell him nothing, even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents and pictures, he will refuse to believe. That's the tragedy of the situation of demoralization. Once people's morals have been debased, education becomes indoctrination. Entertainment becomes hypnotism, as well as music. I had a conversation with a guy at work the other day talking about that. And he was saying, somebody was playing like 60s, 70s rock. He's like, man, the more I hear all these songs, the more like satanic they sound to me. And I'm like, yeah. I tried to explain to him, only if it bothers you should you, like, maybe if you want to live a really aesthetic life, ascetic life, you will get all that away from you. But I was like, it's a matter of how does it affect you and how you act. And I was trying to tell him, don't make it a thing where like you overly reject everything that's out there and things that you enjoy because you don't want to regret that later either. And maybe there's someone else out there that would say, oh, Bill, but you can make an argument that, if you're with God and Christ and you don't need any of that stuff. I absolutely would agree with you. Most people aren't at that level, though. And that's the thing. You have to meet them at their level. And Christ even understands that. You need to read your scriptures. So anyways, Criminals become leaders and lies become truth. You know, if I had a penny for every time Alex Jones was right, it's like, come on, man. But you know, with all this, maybe we do need to bring back some old school style leaders. You know, I heard that Barack was giving Vladimir Putin a talking to. He's giving him a call. He's trying to get him on and say, hey, what's going on? Maybe I can knock some sense into you. And so I went, hey, Vlad. Yes, Barry. Can we talk man to man for a minute? Sure. Put Michelle on the phone. And that, my friends, is the Memecast News. All right, guys. So sorry for the late start. If you didn't realize we had a late start because you come in later, go back. Beer. Go back and watch the beginning of the show, and you'll see that we just started out of nowhere because StreamYards was giving us the business. We got it working though. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you want to check out All Minus One on Friday, I actually probably should stream Friday and Sunday. No guarantees right now, but the wife will be out of town with the baby. All I have is work, and that just means I got a lot more free time to get things together to stream, because the biggest distraction right now while I'm home, of course, is my 9-month-old who is almost walking right now. She can take 3, 4, 5 steps and gets into everything. So there you have it. So if you don't catch me then, catch me next week here on the Justify the Memes every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And remember, folks, the ends always justify those memes for Tank.